Go ahead.
Shalom. Yeah, we're doing. We're in the car, and we're doing the video. And we're going to title it. The Romans are the descendants of Esau, or the Edomites. Now, what we did was we went to Google and we typed in the Roman Empire, Edomites, whatever. And what came up was what's the name of the site?
The Torah.
The Torah?
Esau, the ancestor of Rome.
Okay, this is from the Torah, so these are so-called Jews. Because many, I don't know about all of them, but many so-called Jewish rabbis and scholars, they say that the people of the Roman Empire, meaning white people, as we all know, so-called white people, that they descended from the Edomites. So if those Roman white people are actually Edomites, who is ruling today? The Edomites. And you don't want to, admit to that, Esau. Talking about anti-Semitic against these Jewish people. First of all, you're not Jews. You're Jews in the fact that you converted to Judaism through a Jake named Hyrcanus, or was he the
John,
priest? John Hyrcanus, which he was descended from the Maccabean family. You call yourself Hasidim, which you're trying to say Hasmonean. And the Hasmonean dynasty was the dynasty during the period of the Maccabees, man. You ain't Maccabean.
Right.
You're not Hasmonean.
You're Idumean.
You're Idumean. Anyway, we're gonna read the article, and if any scriptures come to mind, we'll throw them scriptures up in there.
TheTorah.com. Esau, the ancestor of Rome. In the Bible, Esau is the ancestor of the Edomites who live in Mount Seir, southwest of Judah. So how did the rabbis come to associate?
You can jump around like the House of Pain.
So how did the rabbis associate Esau and Edom with Rome? Two main factors are at work here: Christianity and Herod, which shows that these individuals don't know the scriptures. And how could a nation be in one place and then end up in another place? The Israelites were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Jumping down to the part where it says Edom and Rome. This basic sketch of the relationship between the polities of Israel, Judah, Judea, and Edom, Idumea, during the biblical and Second Temple periods indicates that Edom was a polity that ruled from the Mount Seir area from Wadi al-Hassa, southeast of the Dead Sea, in modern-day Jordan and southward, eventually extending westward to Ashkelon on the Mediterranean coast and northward.
That's why you got people saying that Edomites are actually like Arabs, Arabic type people, because they figured that they remain, in that land, which just like the Israelites are scattered throughout the whole world, a lot of these other nations are scattered throughout the whole world, and damn sure Esau.
Yeah.
And northward up to Hebron in the Second Temple period. And yet Rabbinic Midrash associates Esau and Edom with a completely different geographical area, the city of Rome in the Italian peninsula, and speaks as if Romans are all Edomites.
That's from a rabbi, man. Read that again.
It says, and yet Rabbinic Midrash associates Esau and Edom with a completely different geographical area, the city of Rome in the Italian peninsula. And when you go back to the history on what's his name, Haman, the scriptures speak about Haman being a Macedonian, and we know that Philip of Macedon and Alexander the Greek were in those areas, and that's where Esau took over so-called Europe from. That's where they actually got up into that area.
Yes, Alexander was born in Cyprus, which was
Khan.
which is the island under the boot of Italy.
Khan.
Italy looks like a boot, but it's nothing but a long peninsula.
Khan. So it says, and yet rabbinic midrash associates Esau and Edom with a completely different geographical area, the city of Rome in the Italian peninsula, and speaks as if Romans are all Edomites. How did this develop? I believe that the two...
Which make you so-called Jews a bunch of Edomites because you were in bed with the Romans, man.
Khan.
What do you think the Herodians were? They were so-called Jews. They were actually Edomites.
Khan.
When you go back to Herod the Great Father, which is Antipater, he married into the Maccabees, and that's what you're the ultimate culture vultures, man.
Khan. Vlad TV. I believe that the two main factors were at work here, Christianity and Herod. To understand the development of this rabbinic interpretation of Esau and Edom, we need to look at a parallel process of allegorizing Esau, which begins with the Jewish Christ-believing homileticist Paul of Tarsus. Early Christian readings of the Jacob-Esau metaphor. In his epistle to the Romans, Paul reminds his readers that the Most High chose Isaac and not Ishmael among Abraham's sons, because Isaac was the child of the promise, which is true, and not just a child of the flesh. Already in his epistle to the Galatians, Paul characterized the opponents as Ishmael, a point implied at the beginning of Romans 9 as well. After describing how the Most High chose Isaac, Paul writes that the Most High similarly chose Jacob, Romans 9:10-13. When she, Rebekah, had conceived children by one husband, our ancestor Isaac, even before they had been born or had done anything good or bad, so that the Most High's purpose of election might continue, not by works, but by his call. This is a different version. She was told...
It says it's pretty much the same thing. In other words, the Most High chose Jacob over Esau before they even did anything.
Khan.
So, hey, it's not about how the works that you do. It's who the Most High chose. And that's the Most High. You can't argue with the Most High, because the Most High squash you like a pinche bug that you are.
That's right.
That's all they could do. You argue with the Most High, man. You stomp your ass.
Yeah, like the Apostle Paul said, whoever resisted is winning.
That's it.
Whoever resisted is winning.
The answer to that is vocab alone.
Yeah.
And others. Et al.
Et al. Yep.
Et al.
Descendants.
Look that up. Go ahead.
She was told, Genesis 25:23, the elder shall serve the younger, as it is written, Malachi 1:3, I have loved Jacob, but I have hated Esau. By tying the choice of Jacob to the choice of Isaac, Paul implies, but does not state outright, that his followers should be identified with Jacob and his opponents should be identified with Esau. Then they got some here about the epistles of Barnabas.
So is that all the information we need?
Can
we close it, or is there more?
Pretty much looks.
Pretty much it, cause
Yeah, because it goes into
it goes into
other history.
Yeah, it goes into something.
And so,
something else.
in closing, look, man, vocab Malone talking about Esau was done away with. How in the hell can Esau be done away with when this movie is still playing? That don't make no sense, man. Esau was done away with, man. You know how many times Esau and the word Edom is mentioned in the scriptures, man?
Yeah. You got a prophecy in the book of Isaiah, 63rd chapter, where it says, it speaks of the Lord, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? That prophecy hasn't even happened yet, because that's going to happen when Yahushua comes back and delivers his elect.
you gotta prove when did that happen?
Yeah, when did that happen?
The rest of you.
Yeah, that prophecy hasn't happened yet in Isaiah 63rd chapter. And it specifically speaks of Edom. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? It's a metaphor for Yahushua coming back and destroying this society, which is controlled by Esau Edom, the so-called white man. So
Yeah, because if Jacob's not in the power seat, then who's in the power? One of the sons of Noah have to be in the power seat.
absolutely.
So who is it? It's Esau, the Edomites. Anyway, with that, we're going to say shalom and it's on to the next one.
So hold on.